Our discussion is on mentorship, and especially in modern days. And it is something that that we would need a long time to discuss. But we have only about 40 minutes, then I allow about 5 minutes of questions. And I think it's important for us to then go fast and you understand why we are going fast. However, I want to say that for those who work among students, this is one of the most important strategies for doing ministry among students. You know, the good thing among young people is that they are at a time when they are determining their directions, when they are accepting what is right and what is wrong, and taking their future into their own hands. Many of us, now, we are reaping what we had during our university days, the kind of decision you made. The most likely, even the wife you married is part of what happened to you in the university, and you marry wrong.
Meeting is being recorded.
Once you marry wrong, then you end up for the rest of your life with challenges, all because of what you did in your youth. That's first point. The second point is values are not things that you can easily just talk in a sermon. Because you may be saying something, but it doesn't mean the same thing to the person. In my book, the character of an influential leader, I spend a lot of time talking about mentoring, how to transfer values from one person to the other. And those of you who are interested in this subject, I would like you to see Kataka and ask him to give you the book, The Character of an Influential Leader. It will go to the chapter on how to transfer values, how to get values from the values you are living to somebody else, which is our discussion today. And I want to say very clearly, a lot of methodologies we use like preaching will not work. Because you see, like I argue in that book, values are core to our being. They are not on the surface. Your behavior is not your value. Your behavior is the one that expresses your value, but your value is somewhere hidden. It cannot be seen. So it is when you are talking with someone, it's when they finally say something that allows you to know what their beliefs are. For example, I argue in my book, you can say, don't steal. And you can keep preaching, don't steal. But the word steal in the background, the worldview of that particular student is, don't take things from people who are not from your tribe. No, basically, and I give the example, since I'm a Kikuyu, I give the example of Kikuyus. To the Kikuyu, if you stole from the tribe, there was so much against stealing that they would put you in a beehive, put you on a high hill, and set you on fire. As you would roll down, you either die because of the fire, or because of the crash, or because of the water, because you are down going to the... They really hated thieves. But the same people would go to the Maasais, steal cows. When you bring the cows back to the village, the girls formed songs for you, talking about you being Jamba. The same act, stealing, when you steal from Maasais, you are glorified. If you steal from another Kikuyu, there's trouble. Can you then see why it will be very possible, very, very possible, that you can be saying don't steal, and the boy will agree with you because he hates thieves. But in his mind, if he's employed in a parastato, the parastato does not belong to his village. So if he steals in a parastato, he is not stealing. You should even be calling him Jamba because he's not stealing. You can see why there are even Christians in their working life. They'll do things that are not quite right. Yet in church they are the elders, they are the because they don't see any contradiction. Because their definition is different from their background. I hope that story just helps you to see why it is that important for us to mentor. And I'm not suggesting we'll stop all other methods of transferring values, but mentorship is the most important. But what is mentorship? It is a supportive adult who works with a young person to build a relationship by offering guidance or even support. Could even be encouragement. Why are you doing all that? To help the young person's positive and healthy development over a period of time. This is a quotation from Andre Perry in the Hedgina report of 2018. So, if you really are involved in mentorship, it will be, I don't want to use the word adult because you can be mentored anyway. It is somebody who has a value or an experience or an expertise, working with somebody who doesn't have that value or expertise, and working with them in order to give guidance. Sometimes that's what they need. But sometimes they already know where they are going, so we give them support. But sometimes they are okay, but they need encouragement. And we are doing all that in order to help this person you are mentoring, the mentee, to have a positive and healthy development. But the key word there also is that over a period of time. Mentorship is not you meet somebody once and then disappear. It has to be for a reasonable period of time. So and that's why if you're, for example, a STEMmer, it will be important that you don't just see somebody once and say, I've finished, I've mentored him. It has to be over a period of time. Because what you are trying to change is so internal, it cannot be changed with just one visit. I realize you don't have the time. I wanted you to do an exercise. What are the different ways in which you can encourage a protege, this person that doesn't know as much, to aim higher, seek to be better, and to do better? Maybe you can write in the chat what the answer to that question is. What would you need to do to minimize the dependence of a protege on you as a mentor? You want to guide him, but you don't want him to depend on you. What can you do? Can you write your suggestions in the chat box? Then I'll be asking Kataka to read for us. So I already started talking about why we need mentorship. When you can set value through talks, teachings, or sermons. But like I have said in the introduction, it will not fully affect core values, the inside values. But mentorship, because the mentor and the mentee are relating at a personal level, is able to reach that core. And so that one does. Mentoring conversations that allow people to deeply consider matters are a source of greater self-awareness and understanding. Because by the kind of questions the guy is asking you, it's a personal level, which he can't ask in public, can't ask in a bigger group, he will be embarrassed. Those kind of questions will help you to see his inside, and so also you will be reflecting back to him what his core beliefs are, and that way he becomes self-aware. And there's no way you can change from your current values to new values until you are aware of them. Mentors practice non-judgmental listening. The moment the mentee understands this guy is not judging me, they will ask you very, very simple question, like somebody who asked, now I know drinking is bad, but that does not include wine. After all, Jesus blessed the wine. Here is somebody who thinks that the trouble is drinking Muratina or the beer, but the wine is okay. Then you're able to tell him Jesus is not really against the drink. He's against drunkenness. And wine is a worse enemy than beer, because it takes a lot of bottle of beer for you to be drunk. It takes just a few glasses of wine for you to be drunk. So if what you're after is not to be drunk, then wine is worse than beer. How would you ever tell him that unless he unless you are at a one-on-one level. You know, you allow the mentoring partner to explore their own convictions by the kind of questions you're asking, because you are not having judgmental listening. You are getting to know him. Because remember, in mentoring, you are not taking over from the mentee. You are only being a facilitator, helping him to change. You are not changing him. He is changing willingly himself. You know, we need to discuss the importance of mentorship as a discipleship and leadership development process, because it is. You know, it's a unique characteristic of mentoring that it focuses on the empowerment of the mentee. It cannot be called a mentoring relationship if it is for the praise of the mentor. No. Mentoring is mentee based. Is the issue. It's the mentee who determines whether he wants that relationship to continue. You can't force. Evangelism, you can talk to somebody who doesn't want to listen to you. Mentoring, it is not driven by the mentor. It's driven by mentee. So the mentee must be getting benefits of this relationship for him to want to continue. And if he stops it, you can't force him. Anyway, even if you force him, you can't get this change of value we are talking about. So it needs to be very clear that it focuses on empowering the mentee, not on the praise of the mentor. An effective mentor is more interested in asking questions and listening instead of telling. Why don't you allow him to discover himself? He or she has a broader people empowerment expertise. That's what a mentor does, people empowerment. These mentors typically recognize the potential in people. So he is able to assess and see what this person is all about and have a commitment to getting them to discover their full potential and realize that full potential. That's what a mentor does. But who qualifies to be a mentor? I wish I had enough time. Each one of these can be a discussion, separate discussion on its own. If you want to qualify to be a mentor, you must have the ability to readily see potential in a person. If you are the critical person who every time you meet somebody, you see what is wrong with him, but not what is potential in him. What is potential? It's not what a person is now, but what they could be. And you can see a crook, a thief. I say, if this guy changed, my, this is a dynamite in the kingdom of God. So you need to have that ability to see beyond the troublesome behavior of someone or the weakness of someone to see their potential. Because what will motivate you to continue investing in somebody who is not doing very well is because you can see beyond his current position. Number two, the mentor has enough tolerance with mistakes. If you are the impatient type who can't allow somebody to mistake, to ensure that the potential is developed, you can't go on. I still remember a young man who was actually a leader in a youth group, asking to be mentored by me, and he told me it's because he has gone back to alcohol and has now become addicted. Couldn't believe it, because I used to be invited in that place, in that church, and speak, and he was the one leading. But now he said, "Can I meet you privately?" So I agreed to buy him a cup of tea in a Java. And that's when we started our mentoring, trying to help him, first of all, to show him, I think he already knew it's a sin, but he is now addicted to alcohol. What does he do about it? And the process was initially I was meeting him every week. And it could be very discouraging, because we think that now he has stopped. We meet on the third or fourth week, and he tells me, and he was very frank with me, I was passing near a bar, I just could not help it. I drank again, and I feel, wow, haven't I been wasting my time? My friend, that person now is an evangelist, ministering, and that problem was finally over. But it took quite a bit of non-judgmental relationship. Tell him, oh, that's bad, you should not do it, but I understand the kind of background you come from, and I hear it's a medical issue. It takes time. But don't go back. Now that you know passing near a bar has a problem, don't use that route. You better use a longer route, but don't pass through there. You are not strong enough to be able to stop it. Now, so that's what you are saying. If you really want to mentor someone, and we have said mentoring is something that you have to do over time, I think it will be important to understand then that you have to be somebody who tolerates mistakes in as long as you can see potential in a person. A mentor has flexibility to give and take and flow with the situation. In other words, you don't just say lesson 1. Then somebody comes with a problem that's not in lesson 1. You need to be flexible enough, because remember my argument, mentorship is mentee-based, not mentor-based. And so that means you have to be flexible to discuss what matters to the mentee, even if it's not what you wanted to discuss that particular time. Flexibility will be important. It is when the mentee realizes that he is an important party in it and that you care about him, that he will now start opening more and more and listen to you more and more. You know, somebody says, I don't care how much you know until I know you care. So in mentoring, what he really wants to know is that you care about him, that you see